Hello everybody, welcome to Module 6, which is International Business Ethics. My name is Adrian, I'll be your MBA coach taking care of this module. Now, our aim will be to discuss global ethics and its complexities, and you're going to see that it's not as straightforward if we deal internationally comparing to dealing with one country or one culture. So our objectives will be to introduce our topic through a case study, and then we're going to explore some global perspectives on ethics. We will then look at regional traditions and other cultures and what they might see as unethical. And then finally, we're going to conclude by summing up with an ethical reality. Right, let's look at the first case study. A British business traveller is asked by a customs officer in Latin America to pay a small fee to fast-track the clearance of a parcel. Now he replies to the officer, he says, I'm shocked that your morals will allow you to ask for bribes. And the officer got quite angry and replied to him. He said, your country goes to war and kills thousands of people for oil and resources. I'm only asking you for $50. Nobody ever got hurt. And you think that you've got the moral high ground over me? Okay, I can see where this is going. You're thinking that we're getting a little bit too serious. So let's use another example then. Ready? Okay. An American businessman travels to Bangkok and he meets an interesting person that he perceives as a lady. However, he's uncertain as to whether this person is a man or a lady, so he asks her. He says, do you promise that you're a lady? That person says, yes, my beautiful sir, I promise I'm a lady. But the person thinks to himself, yeah, right, buddy, I might look like a lady to you. Okay, so now we've got our case studies. Let's move forward. Clearly, as we've seen in these examples, global perspectives on what is ethical will vary, and sometimes they'll vary quite significantly. If we look at the definition of ethics, ethics are concepts of right and wrong. However, in a multicultural world where values are diverse, ethics are increasingly complex. Yet we find that important people like Larry Ellison would point out that everything is based on fashion, even morality is based on fashion. What a statement. Would you agree with Larry Ellison? Immanuel Kant, on the other hand, states that in law, a man is guilty when he violates the rights of others. In ethics, he is guilty if he only thinks of doing so. So, it is possible for one to act perfectly lawfully, but yet in the eyes of other people, we're not ethically correct. There's a famous quote by Sergei Lavrov from Russia. He said, so you see, different countries have different concepts of partnership in the UN Security Council. I think our concept is more appropriate and more ethical. The fact is that there is no country in the world who can claim the moral high ground against another. Business scandals happen globally in every country. Here's a list of examples. At Tyco International we've had executive theft. At Enron we've had accounting fraud. At Firestone Tires we've had the use of child labor. At Deutsche Bank there was spying. At Halliburton there was overcharging of the government. And if we look at the example of BP, where the oil pipe has been breaking in the Gulf, that was also not very ethical. There are regional traditions. We've got different traditions in the East and the West. For example, in the West, businesses might progress better if marketers join the right golf club or the right boys club or some special societies. And in the East, on the other hand, we've got keiretsu, which is special groups in Japan, or we've got chaebol in Korea, or guanxi in China, which is the famous example of gift giving. Now, what might be considered unethical and disrespectful in one part of the world may have been culturally accepted, and for many years and for many decades, people have been used to those systems. The fact is, regardless of whether we agree with it or not, these things are in place and we have to come to terms with it. This brings us to the ethical reality. What is the ethical reality for global marketers? No single international body has yet succeeded at establishing international ethics. This includes the OECD. And conflicts of interest amongst G8 and G20 countries, who all negotiate out of self-interest, will remain a complicating factor. The ethical reality is this, that we have to understand the local culture and we have to avoid being ethnocentric at all times. We should study cross-cultural negotiation well and blend in with local customs without breaking the law. I would like to share a practical example with you. Once I had to negotiate with a group of agricultural exporters in Argentina, and I had no idea what to expect. I desperately wanted to act appropriately within the local environment. So I hired an Argentine business consultant even before I went there on the O-desk. And it was only for $20 per hour. And after 2 hours of talking to her via Skype, I understood a lot more about the local business ethic. So in this case, $40 worth of research equipped me better. I closed a sizable deal during that trip as a result. And so I would conclude by suggesting always research the local traditions before engaging in a new marketplace.